Okay, welcome everybody. This is Brian Short with Premier Trader University. Thanks for joining us today for our presentation and Q&A session. We're going to be walking through two of the strategies that we teach inside the university and giving you some pretty good detail on how these approaches work. And also, obviously, at the end, we'll give you how you can get involved with the university. And on today's call, I have the founder of NetPicks and PTU, Premier Trader University, Mark Soberman, is with us, and the author of Trend Jumper, Troy Noonan, is with us. And both of them are going to take us through the bulk of today's presentation. As always with our presentations, we want you to walk away with all your questions answered. So I'll be responding to questions in the text, and then at the end, we'll announce questions that kind of apply to everybody in a broad sense, so to speak, and announce those questions and answer those on the mic. This is live, and so it's going to be very interactive. We want you to step up to that text box, ask your questions, and we will be getting underway here in just a few minutes with our presentation. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Mark. And Mark, if you're on the mic, let's begin.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that. Like Brian mentioned, thanks for everybody, or to everybody, for attending here today during this live PTU Premier Trader University webinar. Really appreciate that. Like Brian mentioned, we're also joined by Troy Noonan. So Troy, if you're with us, let me know.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, you're coming through good.
Right.
So Troy just wrapped up the live trading room here today for PTU and Trend Jumper. So I'm sure we'll be talking about some of the specific trades from today or last couple days. And so I'll be doing that as well with the PTU2 demo. So we'll give you a lot of real current what's happening now, trades and how everything's been working and all the information you need about the university. So let's go ahead and jump in on the presentation today. We're going to demo the new PTU2 trading strategies. We're going to demo the PTU Trend Jumper for you. You'll learn, of course, about the Premier Trader University, how it works, how you can master these exact trading systems and put them to work, really about as quick as we can possibly do this based upon when the next class starts, which is what's really good about your timing if you're here today and considering this. So you'll really be able to get started and get cracking almost right away. So we'll go ahead and we'll cover all that for you. I think a lot of people know our background. Just if you don't, just a quick, 15, 20 seconds. We were founded back in 1996, actually 2 years before Google was incorporated, so we obviously go way back. We focus all this time on what I consider active trading, forex, future, stock, and options, never position long-term. This is all about active trading in the markets. Been doing it over 17 years. We have students in 105 countries, which is almost even hard for me to believe. And the Premier Trader University launched about 6 months ago in June 2012. We've already had 4 successful graduating classes, and all of you joining us here today, you'll be class number 5, and looking forward to getting started with that as well. So the team here at NetPicks, obviously myself, Mark Soberman, top left. You heard from Brian Short, top right, and we'll probably hear from him later. He's also helping me with the questions as we go through this. Troy Noonan there in the middle. We'll be jumping on the mic as well and giving you a demo of the PTU Trend Jumper systems, which are really exciting, and then some of the rest of the team as well that helps support the PTU. And even some of you, if you were on the roadshow, you may have met Brian, or you may have met Kevin, or Troy, or Ram was out there as well as Mike. Just about everybody's been out on some of the roadshows. So again, some of these people might be familiar to you even face-to-face. Just real quick, why trading can be your business. I mean, this is really, I think, one of the best opportunities, bar none. I mean, and you can compare it to almost any other type of business. It pretty much wins in really every category. You can scale very easy. I mean, how many businesses can you scale easily? It's very difficult to scale a business, especially a physical-based business, right? Startup capital is surprisingly low. Think of another business that you can have startup capital, $5,000, $10,000, whatever the case may be. I mean, a franchise fee alone is $30,000 to $50,000, let alone everything else you need to get going. A lot of people think it's almost like a gamble, but you have extremely controlled risk and reward with trading. You actually control everything when you take a trade. And, obviously things like overhead and employees and all those pains and the whatever, you don't have to deal with. So this is why so many people attempt to get into trading, because I think all of you recognize the tremendous benefits. And it really can be easy to master if you have the right systems and the right training. It can be impossible if you don't. I mean, without the right systems, without the right training, without the right guidance, unfortunately, what's all great about the trading business is not going to be a possibility. But that's one of the things that are exciting. If you line those things up, and that's why you're all here today, you really can make this work for yourself. Now, what we expect, the best opportunities really for this year and next year in 2013, without question, we're huge believers, like I said, in active trading. So that's day trading and swing trading. If you're in on futures, the best opportunities, stock indices, energies are probably the two best. Obviously there's opportunities in metals, agricultural, interest rate. But, really where the very best opportunities tend to be are the stock indices and energies, and really on the day trading side. Futures is best for day trading. It doesn't have to be day traded, but if you want to know what's the best profit opportunities, that's it. Forex, on the other hand, can both be day traded and swing traded. And we would actually lean towards swing trading on Forex. And we're going to show you two styles of swing trading on Forex. I'm going to show you the PTU2 approach, which I almost call like a hybrid between day and swing trading. So rather than trying to scratch out 5 pips here and 10 pips here, we're going for 30, 40, 50, 60 pips. And then Troy's also going to show you the bigger time frame swing trading, where we're going for some of the home run moves, some of the big moves that happen throughout the year. In addition, swing trading in stocks, huge opportunities, and you'll have full exposure to that as well. In addition, you can use options if you want that great leverage, that ability to make 50% to 200% on your options premium. Look no further than using options on stock. And you can do all of this with the PTU systems. It takes just one successful trade plan to succeed. So we're going to be throwing a lot of markets and combinations and possibilities at you today. But while we're doing it, just remember, if you can succeed in just one of those plans, you've made it. So it's really encouraging. I think it should be very energizing for you to know that we're going to be able to duplicate that, not one time, but 10, 20, 30 different times in 20, 30 different markets. So it only takes one, but it's really great to know that there's this much opportunity out there. So let's go ahead and go right to the charts and do a demo of the Premier Trading University, the PTU 2.0 systems. When I go over to the charts here, what I want you to realize as we walk through this and be thinking about this is the simplicity. I mean, obviously, this is first time you're seeing this, so I'm not expecting anybody to have it mastered the moment I show you this. But what I want you to look at as we go through this, and when Troy goes through his demo, is how visual all this is, and how the fact is that we're always going to give you the exact entry price, the exact target, and the exact stop. So think about that. If you know every single time exactly what time of day or night you're supposed to start trading, you're going to get exact trade setups, meaning enter here, exit here. You'll never have any discretion. You can remove really all the subjectivity. All you have to do is replicate what's on the chart to get these results. That should feel a lot simpler and easier than probably a lot of the different things you're doing right now. And I know, usually when we ask the survey, people coming to these webinars, typically about 8 to 12% at most are making money, and all the rest are break even or lower. So most of what you're doing right now is probably either not effective or it's effective but not good enough. And I know there's going to be a small subset of you who are doing well, but that's typically by far the minority. So think about what I'm showing you when we go through this. The first market we'll start with here is crude oil futures. The other thing to keep in mind is as I go through each market, because I want to give you some different exposure, to different markets here, I want you to realize that what you're looking at visually is the same as I go market to market to market. So you're not having to master a trading system for crude oil, then another one for the S&P Mini, and another one for the Russell E-mini, and it has a gazillion different variables and 14 different screens. This is the entire workspace that you would use if you were going to trade the crude oil futures. And this is a trade from yesterday, okay? And we give you an exact time of day to start, an exact time of day to end. Every single market you get and you trade with us, we completely detail in the training and in the university the entire trade plan. So we don't have you trading willy-nilly, anytime, day or night, times a day when the odds are low. That's not how any of this works. We focus in on very small amount of time. Usually most markets, it's a window of an hour, 2 hours, and that's the only time you'll trade. And most of the time, we can get done well before that window is over. So you do not have to put a ridiculous amount of time into the markets to day trade successfully. So when I talk specifics, and we get this set up, okay, this was yesterday actually, on the December 3rd, and it came yesterday morning. And you'll notice, hopefully you can see it, I'll try to point you with the arrow here. The exact entry, it says, is 89.36. So your job at that point is to place a sell stop at 89.36. And your target is target 2. You'll learn what we use target 1 for. But target 2 is your target, 89.03. And if it's to hit that target, you're going to make 33 cents. In crude oil, that's $10 per penny. So this move makes you, if it hits target, $330 per contract. Remember what I said about scale. As you grow with the training and the systems here, you'll start to add a contract and then another contract. I mean, to go to 3 contracts on this and make $1,000 on this move, not difficult at all. In fact, it takes no additional work from the first trade, 1 contract, to 1 trade, 3 contracts. No additional work, just different number on your keyboard. The work is you need to build your account up so you can responsibly trade 3 contracts. But that's what you do when you start with the training and the university. Grow your account. Start to use your profits so you can go ahead and add positions without working any harder. So you get this exact, and we also get the exact protective stop initially up here. So you have nothing to actually fear or worry about ever again when you're trading with these strategies, because you have everything you need to know. Now, just real quick, why is this a short trade here? Obviously, I can't take you through everything, but just know that this is always going to plot on the screen for you. You're never going to miss a setup. Even if you forgot all the rules, you'll still never miss a setup. And when Troy shows you the trend jumper, same thing again. You'll never miss a setup because we've designed and programmed this so all the setups will plot. Your only job is to execute the trade. And actually that becomes pretty relaxing when that's all you really have to focus on, execution. The indicator down here we call our trend power. When it's red, as I think you can imagine, you're going to short. When it's green, you're going to buy. But you don't automatically short when it turns red. You don't automatically buy when it turns green. Okay? You need to have additional confirmations. What we want on PTU2, and really the way Trend Jumper works as well, is we look for a pullback, and it's always going to be into one of these lines that we have. Okay, and so when we pull back into the line, and we're red down here, and we call, like what I call pop back out, meaning like in this case, I pop back off the line, it's going to give us a setup. And the setup is exactly measured, and it's an exact target. And I should mention, by the way, in advance on PTU2, you always know your exact risk and your exact targets before you even start trading on the day. Even more encouraging, you can actually program that into many of the order entry systems. So the second this stop triggers, it'll automatically place a limit order and a stop. That's what I do. And if it's a little bit off, a penny or two, a tick or two, I just move it. But it's really cool because the second this trade executes, you're in and you're done. So 10:10, 10:03, 7 minutes, $330 per contract, hell, $990 if you trade 3 contracts and on up from there. You know, today, a little different, right? We had a buy. And this is, I love these kind of trades because this trade sets up here, right? Turns green on the trend power, pulls back into the line, pops out. That's what we have. It's got to pop out. Gives me an exact setup, 88.14. Okay, in this case, right? My target 2, 88.47, right? So notice it's the same 33 cents because we're using momentum bars, or what we call range bars for PTU2. We'll do a little different on Trend Jumper where we typically use tick bars, but both of them are very sensitive to price movement. That's what you want. You don't want to mess with time interval, 1 minute, 5 minute. It doesn't work effectively over time. So these are the kind of bars you want to be trading in when you're day trading. Now look at this trade. I mean, kind of a mess, right? If you're in this real time, you don't know what you're doing, I almost guarantee you're panicking. You're going up here, you're getting out, you're trying to get back in. When it goes back up, you're getting out, and then everything crumbles, right? All the emotions. But when you're trading PTU2, there's no reason for any of that to happen because you have an exact entry, an exact target, an exact stop. So despite all this noise and all this crap, right, which happens here, it doesn't matter. You just stay with the trade. You did the right thing. You placed your buy at 88.14. You were up a little bit, you're break even, you're down a little bit, you're up a little bit, you're down a little bit, and then it rallies to target. Now, of course, not every trade works. We never would expect every trade to work. But the good news is the majority of the trades will go our way. Okay, the odds are in our favor on every single trade that we take. We fully expect that we'll also lose on trades. You know, if we have a 65% win rate or a 70% win rate or whatever it might be, we have to know that some trades are not going to go our way. But the way that we work is if the first trade on the day works, we're finished, we're done. Whether it takes a little while like this one, this took a while, or whether it takes 7 minutes like the one yesterday, we're finished either way. Now, if we lose on the first trade and we're still inside the trading window, we'll go ahead and we'll continue. But again, this is another $330, not as smooth, not as easy. But again, notice how you had exact structure. So think about how your life would maybe change if you had this type of structure and this ability to see exactly what to do, exactly when to do it on every single market that you choose to be involved with. Let's look at unleaded gas, just because we're talking about, in this case, energies, and then I'll go over to some stock indices. This is the same thing. Okay, notice how this is a different market altogether, but the buys will happen when the trend power is green, the sells will happen when it's red. It will only happen when you get a pullback and then it pops out. So you can see when this was red and it turned to green, you notice how price was still below these lines here, our moving averages. First, they need to get above those, and then it needs to pull back, which it does here. Once that happens, it plots the exact everything. Setup, buy 2.7323, target 2.7442. Like I mentioned, you're always going to know what these risks are before you even start the day. So there is no guessing on that. In this case, it's 119 ticks is what this works out to be on every single trade you'll take this week. So you'll never have to worry about guessing on that. And you know, this market, it's a little bit over $4 per tick. Okay, so what's kind of neat about this one is when I hit target here, this is a little bit over $500 on this move. So in at 8:58, and that's Central Time, by the way. So if you're thinking New York, it's 9:58, and out a little bit over an hour later, maybe just under, for over $500 per contract. 2 contracts, $1,000. 3 contracts, $1,500. Now, like I mentioned, you can't expect every trade to work, right? So the next day, what happens? We get a setup here that ends up triggering, and it reverses to a short, and we do take trade number 2, and trade number 2 ends up working and helps us offset the first trade, which is pretty typical. Many times I can go 1 and 1, 50%, and still be profitable, because typically on a lot of the plans, the target is greater than the stop. Not always. You're going to see in Trend Jumper, it always is. So that's pretty reassuring to know that, geez, I could just go 50-50 and still be making money on a given session. Very, very encouraging. Now, what about a market completely different before I go to stock indices? Let's look at a market like silver futures. Now, this isn't for the initial small account trader. There are some futures markets that are great for small accounts. There are some that are not going to be. Silver is one when you start to build up to it, because it's basically $25 per tick, $50 per penny, so to speak. So on this trade that we had, this case was on the 30th. So on Friday, when you have, again, exact structure, red down below means shorts, pull back into the averages, pops back out, gives you an exact setup, exact target, exact stop. All right, so we're going to go short here on this one, again, 34.27. You'll know that in advance. You just place the sell stop. You program in advance into your order entry system to go ahead and place the target 25 cents away, because that's the way the calculation worked on this one. So we get down to target 2 at 34.02. Okay, so we're in here. I'm sorry, at 34.15, I should say, not 27. That was the stop. 34.15, and your target 34.02. So when that goes 13 cents, I don't know if you know what that's worth, but that's actually worth $650 on this move. So this was 9:30 to 21 minutes to make $650 per contract, and you're finished at that point. The good news is earlier there was a setup that, look, didn't trigger. This was inside the time that we trade. I love to see this. This means that the setup was in a perfect place, It was ready to go if it would have broken, but since it didn't trigger. And if it would have triggered, it would have stopped out. The great news on this day was no stop out, right? No trade, no stop out. You know, if we bounce forward to the next morning, good example of, like I showed you on Unleaded, what happens if you trigger and then you stop? Is everything over for you? Absolutely not. You come right back a little while later and you pick up once again 33.77 up to 33.90. So you pick up the 13 pennies basically, and that really ends up offsetting the first trade, you know, for you. Because on this one, actually, the risk is a little bit smaller than this target. So even one-on-one, we're still profitable, and that means we can finish on that session. And then today, a real simple one. We just came in at 33.17. We were done in 14 minutes and another $650. So 3 wins, 1 loss, you know, kind of right in on the patterns. And I don't have to spend another minute on the day on this trade. I don't care what happens after, good or bad. It doesn't matter. It means nothing to us. All that matters to me is this and then being finished and nothing else. Stock indices like the Dow Mini, again, notice very similar, right? Nothing is any different. What's different is you need to know exactly the market, the size of the range bars to use, the exact time of day to trade these. That makes a huge difference. I've shown people, and it sometimes blows them away, that if you were to start like the Dow Mini, let's say at 9:30 in the morning, and instead started at 9:35, sometimes the differences can be 25 to 100% in profits. So we figured all that out for you, and it literally, sometimes changing by 2 minutes or 5 minutes your start time can double your results, or do the exact opposite, cut your results in half if you start or end at the wrong time. So again, a huge part of the training is giving you the exact specifics on exactly when to trade the Dow Mini, when to stop, what size bar you should use, everything you need to know. So when you run your chart, this exact setup will pop up on the chart and you'll take this trade and this trade will go to target. In this case, right, same thing again. Short entry 13,009, target 12,980. So in this case, 29 points, really smooth the whole way down. The neat thing too is you've got a couple options. If you want to trade Dow Mini, you can also do it on Trend Jumper. And Troy will talk about that a little bit different, you know, in a little bit. And it's got some differences. It's higher frequency trading. So huge opportunities there as well in a lot of these same markets. Now, some of you might be, we mentioned in Europe or Australia, a really popular market that I've been looking at that does amazing. This market averages over $1,000 a week. You may be familiar with it if you're in Europe or Australia, New Zealand, etc. The EURAUD, symbol FGBX, just phenomenal. It's been just doing great for months. This is a good example. I like to show this one because this one came just yesterday. I like to show this because what if out of the gate you lose? Remember we mentioned on the first trade and you hit the stop. Well, the neat thing was this thing came right back and took trade number 1 to target, I should say trade number 2, and then one more trade to target. So I end up 2 and 1. All happens relatively quickly. I don't need this third trade down here. Granted, it worked, but I don't need it. And we end up with a really nice day. And this is 10 euro dollars per point. So when this is short at 133.07 and it goes down to 132.84, you know, we're picking up 1623, 230 euro dollars per contract. So 300 US, whatever the case may be. And exactly works the same way. And this is in the European market hours when this happens. Today's trade, you know, just as good. In this case, we were just one and done, 132.18 down to 131.94. Again, you know, if you start this, you don't know what's going to happen right next. Your chart's going to look like this. You're just going to go ahead and place that setup just like we showed you. Let me bring up the data window again. There it is. So it's going to look just like this. You'll go ahead and you'll just place it 132.18. You'll place your target, you'll place your stop, and after that, you can kind of relax. Let the market do what the market needs to do. And you see it. It came close to target, it weighs back up, and then comes back down to full target. And you're finished at that point, nothing else to do. Now, Forex traders, lots of great opportunities. Let's kind of talk initially, well, we can start here. This is the Euro US dollar. What I want you to pay attention to, and this is what I call the hybrid approach. This is like a data swing trade. And Troy's going to show you more of a classic swing trade. So these trades tend to happen, you know, over half a session to one full session. So you're going to love this if you like the activity, but you don't want to sit there and be scalping 5 pips in the Forex because you're going to give away almost all that in widening of spreads, right, and the fixed spreads. So with this, when I go for the targets, notice on this trade 1.3026, the target was 1.30687. So how many pips is that? Let's just cheat and use a calculator real quick. 42 pips. So not going for a scalp, not going for anything like that. Going for a good size move. I've got somebody on a mic making some noise there, so I don't know who it is. If you guys can just mute. So notice here, you can go short, and again, the trend power is red, right? Just like on futures. When the trend power turns green, it goes ahead and plots a setup. Once it comes off the line, immediately plots, gives you the exact entry, and you will always know your target and stop on every single trade. So whether it's a short here that worked, over this one, this short, this buy, and right now we're in a buy. We'll see. We're not at target yet. We're doing pretty well, but I don't have to worry about it. If you have this trade live in the system, there's nothing else you need to do. Let the trade work itself out. Give it the room that it needs, just like on a day trade. The only thing you need to do is we do have some stop management that you can go ahead and activate, and we teach you how to reduce some risk. And of course, if it was to turn red down here, you would know we'd be starting to look for a short trade. But other than that, there's nothing else you need to do other than let this trade do what it has to do. And there's really excellent profit potential available in these markets. Let me show you some of the others like Euro Aussie. So again, as we go from Euro US to Euro Aussie, you know what? It looks a lot like crude oil futures. Don't you think that you can learn a system like this when everything is this visual and this exact on the screen? When you know this is your short, you know this is where you're supposed to buy in reverse, you know that this is your target, you know this is another entry on the long side to take advantage of this big move up. And it doesn't take long before we're actually shorting, right? I mean, look at this big move up. It didn't take us that long to actually get back in on the short side with the odds in our favor. The odds in our favor because the trend power turned red, because we came off of the moving averages, because we had a confirmation on the setup. I don't immediately just mark it in. We wait for a stop to trigger, and then we go off and we hit, in this case, full target. You know, this is an interesting trade too here because you've got a win here, a win here. You know, you have a really long trade here. This trade would have driven people crazy. This happened over several days. It also was over Thanksgiving, so, you know, there's some reasons for that. But notice how you had some opportunities to short reverse and you never did. So despite the fact that we ended up with a small loss in this trade, right, we shorted here after buying here, a very, very small loss. For me, this is a huge accomplishment. When you can get through this much chop and literally end break even or hit target, whatever the case may be, it's a great thing. And that just shows you the structure of the trends and waiting for the confirmations until we go ahead and try a direction. And then waiting for price to confirm is the real key. And what I was going to show you was some of the potential profits. Let's just switch this up to a monthly. It's a little easier to see. So you can see here on a standard pair some of the profit potential with these markets, and it's as good as day trading the futures, yet you're not having to literally, you know, spend 24/7 like so many forex traders do. You know, EURAUD, again, works the same way. Another great market with lots of opportunities. All the setups are always going to be identified. If you have a couple trades that don't work, immediately you come back with trades that do work. Always having that exact structure. Again, you can see October, November, December, we just started, obviously. We'll see how it goes, but this has been a very consistent market month in and month out. The pound yen's been crazy how good it's been. We had a huge month in November, a huge month in October. Again, just getting going here. I have just a trade open right now in December. So huge opportunities, but notice again the same thing, right? Buy ends up going short here. Lots of chop. You don't have to panic. You just let the trade work itself out, and sure enough, it worked itself out. Another short trade, same situation, you know, up and down, right? Most people have a real hard time trading when this happens. In this case, trigger, target right away. In this case, you know, the market took its time. But you know you've got all this plotted on the screen. You have all this in your system. You place all this in advance. There's nothing else you need to worry about. One final thing before I turn it over here in a minute to Troy is, you know, we don't spend a lot of time in this presentation on stocks. I wish we spent a little more time. But, you know, stocks like Apple and silver ETFs and Google, et cetera, are great and work the same exact way. So once you learn the system, The key is, rather than us telling you, hey, just good luck to you on stocks, our training team and Mike Rixey, who's our specialist in stock and options, he gives you literally the hot list, the 10 or 15 stocks and ETFs that's all you're ever going to need to focus on. And you'll have every stock and options trade that you're ever going to need, and exactly how to approach those, what type of targets, everything. Like I mentioned, a huge part of this training is the exact specific trade plans. So that's a fairly quick, I realize, demo of how all this works, but just notice the consistency. So let's segue into Trend Jumper a little bit, and because I want Troy to show you some of that on the chart as well. And sometimes what I want people to understand, when you come in and you enroll in a university, you'll have these PTU2 systems that I showed you. In addition, in your trading arsenal, you'll have the PTU Trend Jumper. And what's really cool about the Trend Jumper is these are high frequency, very low risk trades. You can trade off of one chart just like you can with PTU2. Another really nice maybe advantage is you actually get in and out of the market faster than PTU2. So if that's important to you and you want to spend less time in the markets on day trading, this would be a great choice for you. In addition, it does an amazing job swing trading in the forex, literally off of the daily charts. So we go from very almost super hyper quick trades to actually fairly slow, easy, calm trades with the Trend Jumper. And the way that Troy explains it to me all the time is the long trade is like literally jumping off a trampoline. These trades tend to work right away. When they work, it's almost immediate. The same with taking a short, like jumping out of an airplane. You noticed on PTU2, sometimes we're going for some bigger moves. We're letting those trades kind of like move and kind of motion up and down. Trend Jumper is a little different. It's typically kind of like a rocket ship. It's typically in and to target if and when those trades work. And again, just like PTU2, most of the trades are going to end up working. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, that we released Trend Jumper as a standalone, but when you get it inside the university, you get some really cool university-only exclusives. One is you're going to get this advanced trading calculator when it's released, stop management, intelligent trade management, scaling and trailing, all things the basic calculator doesn't do that those people have to do manually. This will all be something you'll get. We'll have range bar trading plans. Automation next year when it's released will only be available in the university because there's a lot of training that has to go along with automation. So that's only going to be released for students of the university. Stock and options will be available with the Trend Jumper, a potential new reversal trade setup, and really more in-depth training classes to cover things like tick and range, automation tools, advanced calculator. That's what's really great about getting the Trend Jumper inside of the university. So Troy, this is a perfect time for me to hand this off to you and
Cool.
give us the demo here.
All right, thank you. Let me grab the screen. Excellent presentation. Hold on a second here. I want you to keep in mind one of the most important, just high-level things that Mark was talking about was structure on the chart. Because once you begin to trade in this kind of style, where you look at one chart and you can see the entire trade laid out before you, you know your entry, you know your targets, you know your stops. I mean, you just can't go back to trading any other way, and there's no reason to. It just simplifies. I mean, trading can be very complicated, but it could also be very simple. And we want to trade to make money and trade as a business, because that's really what it is. And when you have that mindset, you want to have the tools that give you the best position to succeed. And so the structure on the chart is critical. And we've learned this over time with all our systems. So you're going to see with Trend Jumper structure. And while I'm using candlestick charts, Mark was showing you bar charts, it doesn't really matter. It's really one of those flavor things. But, I like vanilla, he likes chocolate type of thing. They're both the same. You see the trades are right there in front of you. So we're going to look at some day trades and some swing trades. I want to show you the Dowie Mini. This is today's session. I'm just going to show you a random trade here just to kind of point out to you how it works. The plus sign, that's your entry. If it's below the green dotted line, which is your jump line, you're always going to take a short trade. The dots below, those are your targets. Okay, usually we're going to go to the third target. Sometimes we go to the second. Really depends, and that's something that we learn in training. And then the stop above, that's your stop, the little dot there. See the structure? It's just all laid out in front of you. And when you click on the chart, you look over here in the data window, pull it over so you can see it. There's the trade. It's right there. And the dots are lined up in the order of how you would want the trade to be. The first dot is your stop. The second little plus sign is your entry, your targets. Very simple. When you have a tool like this, it's hard to now try to trade without something like this, and there's no reason to. So, you know when you're going to go short instantly because you're below the dotted line. If it's above the dotted line, the green dotted line, you know it's a long trade instantly. And notice how fast these trades work. I mean, it triggers in, shoots up to its target, boom, you're done. I mean, you could trade with one position or two. We teach you how to trail a second position. And with Trend Jumper, you could even build a big position as you trade. And I like to do this with my forex swing trading, which I'll show you in a moment. The Trend Jumper is going to show you when the price is increasing in the momentum of the direction of your target, and actually gives you a chance to add to your position and build a really big profitable position. And I like to do that with my forex swing trading, because one of the benefits of forex, of course, is that you can custom tailor your position size. If you have a broker that allows you to use micros and minis and full size, of course, you can actually put on the proper risk based on how much capital you have to trade. And this is all what we teach you inside of the university. These are important elements to trading also. It's not just about the system. It's also about money and risk management, trade psychology, and believe it or not, these are just as important as the structure on the chart. So when you learn that, you learn how to put on the proper risk and position sizing. With Trend Jumper, it's going to give you some really amazing opportunities on the swing trade side. Mark, I've got the Buxel on my hot list, and after you showed it to me with the PTU2, I think that's the next market I'm going to check out with Trend Jumper. I want to show you the Bobble, or the Bund, the Euro Bund, actually. This one has been just amazing. I only try to get, my trade plan calls for just one winner, and then you're done, and that's it. And it's usually the first trade of the day. It might be the second. And that happened today, right at 9 o'clock. Trade triggered in here. And look at how quickly it went to its full target. And you're done. That's it. That's the trade plan. It's so simple. This trade plan has produced over $2,000 just in November with the 1 to 2 trades a day only, and you're done just lickety split. I mean, this one was done in minutes.
And Troy, that's for European business hours too, which is nice, right?
Exactly. This is the European time zone. It's just a real versatile strategy, so it works. I mean, been thinking of looking at this on the U.S. strategy too, because I noticed that there's just a lot of good trades that go later into the session, which you could see. There's some nice winning trades. A bunch of trades set up and cancel, which is really good, just like how the PTU2 works, is that you get a setup, but then it cancels. And, it's nice to not get into trades that would have been losers. All these trades pretty much canceled. Maybe this is a little bit late in the session. Better stick to the European session on this until we research it out. But the point is that all the trades look the same. They work the same. Another market that I like to look at a lot in the trade are wheat futures, because the grains just work really well, and it's a real simple trade plan, and you usually get it done quickly. This morning you had this yellow trade here. This one didn't work out. That one was a quick little loss. But then it came right around and picked up this blue trade, which was a full winner, trailed all the way down for an even bigger profit down to here, and you even had a chance to add to your position. This is one of those markets you might consider that. Little scalp trade to full target here. Could have even trailed that. Had another setup here. That one went to full target too. And this whole little cluster here was a very profitable cluster. And this is, 45 minutes, maybe an hour total of trading. Very profitable. And we see this as very consistent. The grains, a market that's often overlooked. Wheat futures, really powerful. Mark, you mentioned unleaded. I love the unleaded market as well, and I like it to use momentum bars with Trend Jumper. Works well. I do the same strategy with the power of quitting one. I try to get one winning trade and positive and then done for the day, and this one has just been amazing. And today, the first trade of the day, triggers in, there's a plus sign, There's the target. You know you're going long because it's above the dotted line. The trailer is going to stop out a little bit below the dotted line. And that one trade, that was an extremely profitable trade. I mean, I didn't do the math on that one, but it was 81 ticks worth of profit at $4.20 a tick. So very profitable trade, right? So let's look at some forex swing trades. You'll see it works identical. The Euro US obvious is the big elephant in the room. It's what everyone likes to trade. It really had a lackluster 2012 up until the last part of the year. We kind of saw that last year too, but the range has been terrible for day trading. But for swing trading, it's really come alive dating back to August. And what I want to show you here is one of the comments in the trade room today that someone learned on their own, and it's what I've been saying for quite some time, is that you're going to get 2 or 3 major moves every year on most of the forex pairs with the day charts. And you want to be in those trades to capture the lion's share of those major moves. So one of them happened beginning in August or so. And you had some chances, you know, you're throwing your fish, you're hooking the line, you got a little fish here that gets away. Notice that this one triggered in and the loss is only this little bit right here. Then you had this one here, and that one also stopped out. So 2 small losses, and you had a short that didn't trigger in, and then all of a sudden good things happen. Let me just explain to you, the risk-reward ratio on these trades are very favorable. On this blue trade, you're risking this much. You can really see it visually. But we're going to the 3rd target. So we're risking this much to make this much. And so do you think I care if I lose on these little trades here, if I can capture these big moves and then add to my position for a full winner, add to my position here, these trades picking up literally, you know, 1,200 pips or more, right? This trade doesn't trigger in. Here's another little small loss. This trade doesn't trigger in. This trade doesn't trigger in. You avoid 3 trades where you really don't want to be long. Maybe you would have if the price continued, but we got a trade at the right edge of the chart. So we canceled. We didn't trade those. Instead, short trade, full target, trailed down even further. The add-on trade was a loser. That's going to happen, but it turned right around and hit a winner, full target, still trailing. Trailer is right about there. And the add-on trade just hit the full target today. And now, if you're trading this according to the strategy, you could have 2 positions trailing, one of them risk-free, one of them in profit, and 2 full targets that you would have exited, and hundreds of pips. And for literally 10 minutes worth of time, because these are end-of-day charts. You come in, you look at the chart each day, and you either do nothing or you manage your trade. You place a trade, you move a stop, and that's it. It's the lowest stress trading there is, and it's also maybe some of the most powerful. This shows over $1,200, including these trades here, probably closer, getting close to 1,700 pips and going just since August on just a handful of trades. And, you know, Mark, I think you got a slide that you're going to show in a moment where you're going to show some of the results on a lot of different pairs for 2012. So, you know, I'll pass this over to you in a moment, and we'll get to that. Let me just show you a couple more. You know, the euro yen also, this is a very great market. This one's gained over 6,000 pips in 2012. But you see the exact same thing. You know, here's a trade that's full target, and the trailer's already exceeded the full target. Here's an add-on trade that's already gotten to the point where you would move your stop to risk-free based on the training. This orange line is representing where your stop would be. So this add-on trade, it's either going to hit the ball out of the park or it's going to get out and cover your spread costs. No big deal. This trade already hit full target, and it's still trailing. And this is just adding to the 6,000 plus pips that this market has gained in just 2012 alone, with just a few minutes a day, basically, or less. Because I mean, there are days where you don't do anything, right? So I like to look at between 15 and 20 different pairs. I figure I'm going to get 0 to 4 trades per month per pair with end of day. You know, so I spend maybe 30 to 45 minutes a day with all those pairs, and I'm going to get as much action as I want on a week-to-week basis with the lowest stress trading that I think exists in the world of trading. which is this end of day swing trade style. And the thing is with Trend Jumper is I'm not really changing anything. All these setups on all these forex pairs are identical. I didn't change anything in the calculator. You know, it's a slightly different calculator to the futures because it's an end of day and they got all those digits to compensate for in the quotes. But it's the same setups with every single pair. And on futures, it's the same setups on every single futures contract too. So it's so simple, just plug and play. You know, crude oil has been phenomenal. We had another winning session today. That's 2 winning sessions in a row for December. And, you know, maybe when we get to the Q&A, I can go over some of those trades if you're interested. But Mark, I mean, I can't really show you anything different. I mean, I just showed you the entire Trend Jumper strategy.
Yeah, no, that's great, Troy. Let's go ahead and we'll continue on here, but really appreciate that. I think just like Troy mentioned, you know, the secret is the structure. The secret is knowing exactly what to do in every situation. So again, the confidence that comes from that for you as a trader, you know, those of you watching, I mean, that's kind of the secret. So how do you get started? How do you do all of this? Well, it all comes down to, we put this all into the Premier Trader University. And the Premier Trader University is about, you know, offering complete trading education and great trading strategies. And we really try to focus on what we call lifestyle trading, which to us is this balanced way of not spending all day and night in the markets and balancing that with your objectives. You know, whether you're looking for full-time income, part-time income, financial emergency, you know, building your retirement portfolio, whatever the case may be, everybody's objectives are a little bit different. Everybody, what you want out of this is a little different, but everybody wants the good lifestyle when it comes to trading. It makes no sense. I don't know a lot of people who are killing themselves trading who are making any money. It just doesn't typically go together. So you notice Troy and myself, we talk a lot about the least amount of time in the markets. That's what we focus on, not trying to tell you how you should work harder. It's all about working a lot smarter, more efficiently, and spending the least amount of time possible. So we really broke the university down into 3 simple steps. It's prerequisites, it's undergraduate, and it's major, just like you would at any university. The prereq, when you enroll today, is something you'll start immediately. It's home study. You just start going through the training. Our entire coaching team that you saw in the beginning put this together. It's got an array of amazing information about everything possible you can think of, because we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page when you start to attend the undergraduate sessions. So everything from pros and cons of market style, broker selection, charting platforms, how to work with them, how to read the charts, how to place the trades, software and hardware requirements. The only technical analysis you're going to need, you can throw away 98% of what you already know. Introduction to risk and money management and trade psychology, approaching this with trade plans as a real business. All of this is covered in the prereq. And the neat thing about it, it's self-paced, and you determine your experience level. You know, if you feel there's a topic you have mastered, you don't necessarily have to go through it. What we found is even the most advanced traders that we have, you know, in our group and in our base have gotten something out of virtually almost all aspects of the prereq. So then when we start the undergraduate, which the good news is for you guys, it literally starts next week. So you don't have to wait very long from enrolling to starting. We do a live in the markets 2-day training. You're not coming to us. You're going to do it just like you are now. Pull up a comfortable seat in your home or office. And the objective of this 2-day session is everything you need to learn and master the PTU2 and the Trend Jumper. So you can walk away from the undergraduate and start taking trades, practice, and then obviously live. Everything you need to know, trade plans, specifics, how the systems work, the indicators, what determines a buy, a sell. Nothing's black box. It's all disclosed to you. You'll have access to all the 2 trading strategies and the Trend Jumper trading. In addition, like Troy mentioned, it's not just always just system. You need to know about trade management. You know, Troy showed you add-on trades and re-entry trades and trailing. You know, teaching you how to manage and how to cut risk, when to start, when to stop, power of quitting. All these things are part of what we cover. Learning what we call chart level adjustments and key level adjustments, and selecting the best market for you, because again, everybody's different. Determining your risk profile, you know, knowing how to start from, you know, demo and actually going to execute real live trades in the market. And I should mention all of this is recorded, so if it's not at a good time for you, the undergrad, don't worry about it. We record and archive every session. We have people that attend live, and we also have people who go ahead and watch back on replay where it fits their schedule better. Either way, it's a permanent archive for you. Once you do the undergrad, you can then start the major training. And what we like about this is it gives us the opportunity to train you specifically in futures, in forex, or in stock and options. And the nice thing is it's specialized video training class. You self-pace it again. You don't have to wait for us. You can start it immediately after the undergrad. You can wait 2 weeks. You can wait 2 months. Whatever works for you when you want to start to really get down to some specifics about these individual areas, because forex is a little different than futures, is a little different than stocks. Obviously, like we've mentioned and Troy mentioned, the trade strategies themselves, they work across the board. But you still take very different approaches if you're swing trading forex versus day trading a futures market, or if you're swing trading Apple is not the same necessarily as day trading crude oil. So those are the things that we focus on. We can get very specific into the majors, market personality, news that affects those specific markets, schedule, advanced techniques, access to all the trade plans. And when I say everything you need, I mean, we have figured out everything about a specific market. You're not going to go ahead and then have to figure out how to work with these indicators and these calculators and feel like, oh, I've got these tools and this software, but I don't know where to start. You're going to literally have the entire plan laid out for you on all these markets we showed you, plus quite a few more. And like I mentioned in the beginning, how many markets does it take to succeed? It takes one. So all this is covered in the majors, some of the futures, some of the forex, some of the stocks, self-paced. Start with one. If you're a futures trader and you're interested in forex, perfect. Go through the forex major. You may learn a lot. If you're a forex person, you may be amazed at the opportunities that are, like Troy mentioned, actually easier to day trade in futures than it is in forex, and vice versa. You might be a futures trader who wants to add some swing trading to the mix, so you can go through forex or go through the stock and options, and just like that, you've added swing trading to what you do. Think about how you're growing your business with the PTU. No longer are you stuck with one market, one approach. You have tons of bandwidth to grow your business, and that's what you want, the ability to scale, the ability to add markets, the ability to add contracts, and really you determine what works for you. And what's really nice is you have access to all three majors, no additional charge. You'll have instant access to them after you finish the undergrad, and these are all available to you. Now, just really quick, what this chart is here. I like to show people, there's mechanical results, which is what you see on the PTU system on a few different examples here over a set amount of time. And then the next column is called what I call system and training. We teach you a lot of nuances about individual markets. When you go ahead and put that training into effect, this shows you the potential bump you can get, the range, by learning things about a market and not just necessarily looking at it in a completely, mechanical way. Mechanical is great. It's fine, as you can see, right? Results are great. But you add some education to the mix and look at the bump in the profits that we experience on just 4 of these markets. So how worth it is it to have training and education? You can't replace it. I mean, it's just anybody, if you're going to put the same amount of work in and you can bump your profits even 32%, who's not going to want to do that? Now, I wanted to show you this because the last undergrad class we had was just a little bit over 6 weeks ago. And these are the results just since that last class in PTU 2 on some of the markets. So think about this for a moment. Crude oil futures, $2,300. And these are all just on one contract, by the way. Unleaded gas, been on fire. It's been crazy, $9,000 per contract. S&P Mini, $2,600. The DAX futures, $6,100. The Dow, which is great for smaller accounts, $1,900. Look at these forex swing trade plans, right? The pound yen, like we mentioned, been kind of like unleaded gas. It's just in vogue right now. I mean, these things kind of cycle up and down, but $8,900 and $4,600 on the Euro Aussie and almost $1,800 on the Euro CAD, and even day trading, if you want to go that approach, Euro Yen over 4,000. It's been better than the Euro US. Stock and options, we've had multiple different trades that have earned 50 to 200% of the options premium. And that's just the beginning. All these results, by the way, were on the 100% mechanical. So no subjectivity. The exact trades that plotted on the screen easy to follow, track, and trade. So this isn't with some discretion or guessing or best case scenario. This is the only case scenario, other than, of course, you have commissions and you're going to have some slippage. But beyond that, these are the exact trades that set up, winners and losers, which we had both, just in 6 weeks. So remember these numbers as we move through this a little bit. Trend jumper, crude oil, been doing amazing. $16, a little bit over since October 1st. That's over $16,000, by the way. In fact, in October, like Troy mentioned here, didn't even have a losing session. In November, only one losing session. So think about your confidence when you know that virtually every session you start and you follow these plans, you should end up profitable. Not every session. I mean, we can't guarantee every month will be like October and November, but that should tell you right away that October, November, and December is already doing great, that the majority of the days you start, you will finish on the positive side of the ledger. You know, here's some additional ones on the Russell E-mini, 85% of the sessions profitable. Feels really good to start the day knowing that 85% odds that you're going to finish that day profitable. You know, a later session he shows you on the Russell E-mini, also profitable. So sometimes you can fit this to your schedule. You prefer the YM, which is the Dow E-mini, or the NASDAQ E-mini, or heating oil, or wheat, or unleaded gas, or the BUND in European hours, or the DAX in European hours. Again, everything works the same way. And like Troy mentions here, each was accomplished with minimal trades and small risk, and that's really a key. Now, we also talked about swing trading on forex with the trend jumper. These are knock your socks off results. And like Troy mentioned, this comes from the daily charts, minimal amount of time, but this is all about catching those 2, 3, whatever, 4 moves a year that you load up on. But you don't have to guess when those times will come. You just follow the structure on the screen, on the chart, and this is what happens. This is just a subset of some of the pairs. And the reason Troy mentions, like he did, that he likes to follow a grouping of pairs, not just one, is because none of us really know in 2013 if the euro-yen will make another 6,000 pips. You know what? It might end up being the pound US. Maybe it makes 6,000 pips, and the pound yen makes 7,000. And next year, the euro yen makes 3,000. You know, that's the nice thing about this. We don't need to know, right? Crystal ball people on TV, they do no better than guess. You don't have to guess. You don't have to be the 50-50 type of person where it's a flip of the coin. You just go ahead and follow the structure on the screen, and these are the types of pips that we've experienced throughout 2012. We have great testimonials that have continued to come in. Almost every day, one of the coaches sends me something like this that they received in from somebody. You know, Paul, first class product, best package you've ever offered. Frank, very complete, support, very helpful. Dimitri, can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and meant to me. We have Maurice here, fantastic, thoroughly put together and super informative. Look forward to working with PTU NetPicks for a long time. Adyan saying the only system in the world that I've ever come across that I can intellectually be comfortable with to trade. We have people like Randy talking about how well he's did in his IRA with the past system, and now he's moved on to become a full-time trader with the new systems and just a set amount of time, and looks forward to trading full-time in the next 2 months with actually someone else's funds. So he's going to be a professional trader. Same here with Brad, also working with somebody else's funds. Only had one losing day, 80% winning days like we've been mentioning, doing extremely well, in this case, using the trend jumper on the S&P Mini. So lots of great testimonials keep coming in. So it's kind of your opportunity now. So this is what you need to do. This is the way that it works. The prereq when you enroll, you're going to start that immediately. The undergrad class starts December 11th, so the 11th and the 12th, okay, and we go through the entire training, everything, just 2 days. That's next week. Perfect timing. The reason I say that, this is going to give you the chance here in December, even over the holidays when things slow down a little bit, I think that's perfect timing because most everybody knows Q1, after the first of the year, tends to be a great time to trade. A lot of things are going to start to get resolved. There's a lot going on around the world, some uncertainties that you all are aware of, both domestically here in the U.S. and internationally. They've been moving the markets, but there's also going to be some resolutions or some things moving forward. So I think it's going to be a great time to trade. I just cannot see Q1 not being volatile and having lots of great movement overall. That's perfect for us. So you guys can literally start next week. It's fully archived, so if you can't attend live, we'll stream it. We'll get that posted for you, virtually immediately in the Owners Club. And then you can start to go through the self-paced major programs. Do that end of December, middle of December, in January, February, whenever you want to do it. You can start trading without going through the major. But this is just the majors are there to hone your skills and make you even a better trader. We've added the PTU Trend Jumper, which is a huge opportunity for you. Outside the university, you can spend over $2,000 on it because you've got the system, and then you have to pay monthly recurring. With the university, there is no monthly recurring that you have to pay. We'll also give you 2 one-on-one private coaching sessions, perfect to do maybe after the undergrad, do an hour, and maybe after the majors. So you can talk to a coach specifically about your account size, your situation, your hours. They can review some trades that you took, whatever you and however you want to do it. Usually people find that to be extremely valuable. And then we do live in the market training every single week. I'll talk about that in a moment. And we have the best support in the business. We call it white glove, phone, email, live chat, whatever it takes. We have a great team that actually trade, are actually in the markets, and we're all originally customers of NetPicks. So they know exactly what you're all going through. Now, really pretty big new additions. I mean, this is brand new. We just went from 2 days a week live in the market. Now we're doing 4 days a week live in the market. So you can attend these live trainings to hone your skills, to see what we're doing as the markets are kind of setting up 4 days a week. In addition, in January, we're going to start for the first time ever European market hours 2 days a week, meaning European business hours, live in the market training from our UK-based trading coach, James Kessick. So those of you in that part of the world where, you know, US session isn't always great, we're going to cater to you here. And we're going to have 2 days a week live in the market coaching and training. And James is going to be heading that up. So really excited about that. That's a brand new thing. And he's a full-time successful day trader. So you again, another coaching team addition that you're going to be able to learn from. And your training support is actual live in the market trading and traders. I think that's really key overall. Now I wanted to mention really briefly, I want to kind of get through this as quick as I can, but we're compatible on TradeStation and NinjaTrader. So if you're on a different platform, don't worry about it. We can actually get you TradeStation for free. We can get you TradeStation where they'll actually pay for your entire tuition over time through just trading with them. I'll kind of show you a NinjaTrader offer as well here in a moment. So I don't care if you're on MetaTrader or something else. It's very simple to move into TradeStation or NinjaTrader. And in fact, we can get it to the point where it's either free or very low cost. And these are very high-end professional applications. You can actually trade through their systems. You know, it's a huge advantage overall. It's going to blow away anything that you're currently working with. You know, if you're on MetaTrader, nothing wrong with it, but it's very limiting, right? It's very limited what you can do. You can't do all the different plans with MetaTrader. So number one, with TradeStation, we can get it to you at no charge. In addition, if you fund an account, they'll pay back up to 100% of your tuition fee to the university, which is really awesome arrangement. NinjaTrader, if you go through them and you set up through a company called AM Futures, we negotiated ridiculously low commission rates. I've never seen any this low. That literally the savings alone will end up paying back your tuition. And we don't make anything from TradeStation, by the way, NinjaTrader, AMP. We always tell our vendors like this to give the customer the very best deal, the very best wholesale deal. We don't want anything in exchange. So everything is passed along to you. That's why you sort of get some of these kind of crazy deals from a TradeStation or a Ninja or an AMP Futures. So that's another huge opportunity for you as well. So overall, when we put everything together, it's almost an $18,000 value. You get the PTU2 everything, all inclusive. PTU Trend Jumper, all inclusive, plus the exclusives that only come in the university. The trading calculators, that's the structure on the screen. You'll never, for a minute forward from this point, know or not know what to do, where to get in, where to get out. You get the prereq, the 2-day live, undergrad, all archived for replay, all 3 majors available to you, no additional charge. Trade plans on dozens of markets, exact plans to master all those markets, the university exclusives of the Trend Jumper, the private one-on-one coaching sessions, the live in the market trading every week, US and now starting January, European market hours, lifetime access to the owner club, no monthly recurring, training, videos, walkthroughs, new markets, new trade plans, new discoveries, all in the owners club, the great support that we mentioned. So what's your investment to enroll here today? The tuition fee is normally $44.97. The good news, I got some deals for you here. It is the holidays after all. So let's go ahead and show you First, we're going to take $500 off that, but it's going to get a little bit better even. So that brings you down to $39.97. So if you're brand new to NetPicks and never bought one of our products, you can start at $39.97, or just do a simple 12 pay, $377 a month. Easy enough, very minimal. We've showed you so many different trade plans that blow that away as it is. Literally in the last 6 weeks, we have made this tuition fee and more, as I showed you, in a number of markets. If you already own one of our day trading systems, take an additional $1,000 off, and it drops down to $29.97. Or just do a 12 pay of $297. Or if you own one of our swing trading courses, we'll take $500 off, basically reimbursing you for that investment previously. Nobody does that out there, but we do. $34.97, or just a 12 pay of $337 if that's easier for you. And this is all in, all inclusive, ownership for life, no licensing fees, no add-on fees, no anything else. This is it. You own it forever. In addition, I want to tell you about, and we'll go back to that in a moment, the satisfaction guarantee. This is no risk based upon what you've already seen. But in addition, I want to back it up with a risk-free 45-day guarantee. All I ask you to do is do a little bit of work on this, review the prereqs. You got to go through that. Attend the live undergraduate class or the replays. You got to do that. Install the indicators. Make at least 25 trades following our plans, live or demo. And then if it's not for you, it's not for you. There's no way that's possible. I know if you follow these 4 steps, it's yet to happen. But that's all I'm asking for you is to be serious about this, commit to this, make this work for yourself. This will be the best New Year's resolution you can make for yourself in 2013. So 45 days. If you're on the monthly, you can cancel anytime. Go through steps 1 through 4, and then there'll be no further additional payments in the monthly plan. If you're in the full pay, then you literally can get 100% refund. So no risk at all going through this. We have that much confidence in what we're doing. But I want to throw out a little additional thing. It is the holidays after all. And if you're like me, an online shopper, I'm always using the holiday codes out there. And I like how I spell holiday. That's a very intriguing way of doing it. But if you use Save 250 when you go to checkout, you'll get an instant additional $250 discount right now. So you don't have to wait for it or anything like that. You just need to put it into the little coupon code field, and it's an additional $250. We've never done this before, but we figured it's the holidays. Why not? Let's go ahead and do this, and we'll be shutting down the enrollment here anytime since the classes are starting next week. So this is one additional little bonus for you as well. So the pay in full, but that's only for pay in full, by the way. If you do the monthly, as you can imagine, I can't give you $250 off what's almost a $250 monthly fee, up to $1,277. You get the $500 discount. You get the $527 that you do save off of the payment plan. It's always better to pay in full. And you can use the coupon code SAVE250 and get an additional $250 off. Plus, you get a 100% refund guarantee with the pay in full. It's $1,200 in savings. In addition, the money back guarantee. So I think that's the best way to do it. But we also want to give you guys the 12 pay if that makes more sense to you. So what you need to do is go to netpicks.com/GoPTU, and you'll have the sign-up page. And you can pick whether you don't own anything of ours yet, whether you own one of our day trading systems or one of our swing trading systems and get the additional discounts. Registration is going to close anytime. We have a pretty full class already. We're taking on a few more enrollments. I should mention the coupon code is only going to work while we're talking here, while we're doing the live webinar and answering some of your questions here in a moment. Once we do that, the additional $250 savings goes away for the pay in full people. Just be aware of that. And classes start next week. The timing's perfect. Get started on the prereqs and get going. I mean, this is ideal for you guys. I mean, I think for sure. So one thing that I ask myself, and you should too, how quickly can I recoup my investment? So I showed this slide. This one is actually even from probably 6 weeks ago. It's the same exact slide. So even at that time, we haven't even added in the additional 6 weeks of profits. It shows you the multiples that were possible over the enrollment cost in such a short amount of time, in just a few months. But remember that one screen I showed you before, PTU2? This is just 6 weeks. You actually have a handful of markets here that have already paid back the entire tuition. You have some that have gone halfway or more. It's only been 6 weeks. This is only if you traded one market, one contract, right? So even if you start very, very small, just the Dow or natural gas or something small, it shows you that it doesn't take a long time to where you'll be able to reimburse yourself for the tuition fee. And by the way, if you go through TradeStation, they'll also reimburse you right, for your tuition fees. So talk about doubling up. So remember this as you go through this. I look at it like an investment. You should look at it like an investment. I think it's the best investment you can make in yourself. You have the entire team at NetPicks that is dedicated to the university and to this training. I mean, everybody works on it. We all work for you. We all figure out the markets that work. We all figure out what's successful and what's going to get you to achieve the objectives you're looking for. I want to just give a quick shout out to those of you who joined us on the road shows we've had over the last few weeks in LA, Irvine, San Francisco, Phoenix, Vegas, DC, Orlando, Atlanta, Chicago, New York. I don't know where we're going in 2013, so we may see some of you live as well. But again, thank you. I know a lot of you are on this call as well, so appreciate that. So finally, to get started, and then we'll do some more questions, GoPTU, netpicks.com/GoPTU. Great savings. Use the Save 250 if you pay in full. The other thing I want to mention is the monthly, the 12 pay. This is it. This class is the last time we're going to offer a 12 pay. That was to get the university going. That is definitely going away. So the next class in whatever it is, January or February, will not have a 12 pay available to them. There'll be a payment plan, but it'll be more like a 3 pay, so much higher dollar amount per month. So again, another opportunity. If you're not ready to do a full pay and take advantage of that, this is your last chance to take advantage of the 12 pays, because those are definitely going away. I mean, $377 a month is the max you have to pay, and down to, you know, what we mentioned, $277 a month. I mean, it's next to nothing considering what you can make with just a contract in any of these markets. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over into questions, and I'll have Troy help me with these as well. I know Brian's been working them as we've gone along. So Brian, do you want me just to kind of pick some of these off, or that you haven't answered, or should I do that, or is there something specific you want me to cover?
Actually, I'll answer a few if you don't mind here.
Yeah, go for it.
To begin with, and then I'll kind of turn it over to you. There's a few that I left unanswered in the text. If you want to read down through those, you'll see them, and you can start to formulate a response on those. But first of all, a lot of questions were asked on which platforms are supported for Premier Trader University, so I want to put that one out there right away and make sure everybody's very clear on it. Obviously, you saw the demo today in TradeStation, so that is the one platform that we support, and with the TradeStation scholarship program, that makes that very attractive possibility for you. Also, NinjaTrader is another option, and you can select NinjaTrader, and for those of you on Ninja, the indicators work just fine on that platform. A few of you asked about MetaTrader 4, and at this time we do not have the indicators available on MetaTrader 4, mainly because there's, we're a little bit limited in what we can do on that platform. And trading really is about, being in business. It's a serious business, and so the two platforms that we support at this point in time, TradeStation and Ninja, are really professional grade platforms. So I did want to answer that. And then also in regard to the scholarship for TradeStation, I did want to make sure you understand. I know, Jay, you were interacting with me. I'm sorry, Ray was interacting with me, asking some questions on that. These scholarship does not apply to forex accounts because it is a commission rebate program. And if you think about it, the forex does not have commissions that are charged. So that's the reason for that. And so with that, Mark, if there's some other questions you saw in the text there that you want to go ahead and answer, I'll turn the mic back over to you.
Sure, thanks, no problem. Let me see here. What time frame is the best to trade forex? That's from Bill. So we use range bars on what I call that hybrid approach, which is data swing, and then Troy with the trend jumper uses typically daily charts. So that's kind of what we have found to be the best. Larry, I was showing you TradeStation, as was Troy. Just go down and see what more questions we have. Some people asking differences with SST and Trend Jumper. I'm going to kind of give a couple things, and then if Troy wants to jump in after and add anything. Obviously, SST, very high quality trading system. We have a lot of people also adding or moving into Trend Jumper. Some of the differences are you definitely have higher frequency trading, so there's more opportunities with Trend Jumper. Another thing that's a nice advantage, I believe, like Troy mentioned, is the settings tend to be very constant across the markets. With SST, we turned a lot of dials depending upon the different markets. With Trend Jumper, we really had that designed so we weren't going to do that. So the approach is really identical across the board, and you don't have a lot of fine tuning that you need to do. That also is a really nice advantage. And then it just seems to really be extremely flexible across virtually every market that we throw at it. So, those are just some of the advantages. Troy, if you want to add anything else to the mix, you can. Besides, of course, the training and the education, I think, is invaluable in the PTU.
No, you've hit the nail on the head, Mark. I mean, what they have in common is the structure. You got the trades printing right on the chart. The SST, of course, has that bigger risk profiles and bigger trades and stuff, and it's got a long track record. But the Trend Jumper is just holding its own, and it's like you said, it's easier to learn, and it's just lower maintenance. You put it on the chart and go, basically. Can't really do that with SST.
Exactly. Jan says, are the results from swing trading? Well, the results we showed you on forex were primarily all swing trading when it was Trend Jumper. And when I showed you PTU2 results, like the pound yen over $8,000 in the 6 weeks, that was based upon what I'm kind of calling a mix between day and swing. Those trades tend to go 12 to 36 hours, sometimes quicker than that. So they're not trying to scalp the forex markets, which you don't want to do. They're really trying to get those 40 to 60 pip moves. And then Troy, when he's doing the daily charts, his trades tend to be 100 pips or more off of the daily. Okay, just scrolling down here. On your track record based on one contract, what's the stop loss and target for the DAX and the CL? So the crude oil, the way that it's going to work on PTU2 depends upon the range bars for the week. And right now it's 11 cents. So my typical risk on that's going to be about 33 cents, about $330 max risk. Of course, we cut that down, but that's max risk. Right now on the DAX, we're looking probably at about a $400 to $450 max risk on that. TJ, what are you been looking at on crude oil lately on Trend Jumper? Like, what have you been primarily seeing on most of the trades on Trend Jumper?
I'm sorry, Mark. The question was what, the risk?
Yeah, just like what's kind of been maybe it's a little different with Trend Jumper. Let's say about like your average stop loss lately on the crude oil.
Probably about 13 ticks.
Yeah, that's going to be one big difference. PTU2, like we mentioned, versus Trend Jumper, it is a lower risk on Trend Jumper because it's going for those higher frequency, quicker trades. And typically we're going for bigger profile movement intraday on the PTU2. So that's something else you can do if you have a certain account size that maybe doesn't fit PTU2, but you want to trade crude, but you just know with safe risk it won't work. You can go ahead instead and focus in on it with Trend Jumper where the average risk per trade is going to be lower. Hey, Brian, I'm sure you do. When you broadcast out your answers, you're sending them to everybody, right? So everybody sees the answers, most of them anyway?
Actually, it was mostly individual.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing, okay, that's fine. Because are there some of those questions then that other people would, because I didn't really look at any ones that you answered.
Responded to individually were more one-on-one, and the two that I announced obviously were for the general audience.
Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, normally if it's a generic one, maybe just put it out to everybody, because somebody else might have that same question. Let's see. Yeah, so I see. I have a question here. Yes, TradeStation is a broker, so some people were asking about that. So you can do all your trading through them. You don't have to. You can trade anywhere you want in the world. We don't dictate to you where you end up trading. Okay, I'm just kind of reading through some of the other questions. Right, so the futures were based upon, and when I gave you dollar amounts, a standard size pair. So your account may not be good for standard size, but you can go down to 1 mini if that works for you. And Troy even talks about that in his training on the daily charts. You can even break it down to micros, in order to be able to have good, smart risk reward. It says we will be taking trades alongside of one of you. Yeah, I mean, when you attend the live rooms, Robert, and that was a question, you can certainly take the trades as they come up. We focus on training more than anything, so we're not necessarily, if there's a trade setting up and we miss it on another screen, the idea is it's a live signal room, but certainly you could be there watching these things as they develop, and live trades are definitely happening. Jan, I think we answered your question. Yeah, right. So Brian was mentioning to Ray that he was asking about the benefit of buying PTU if he doesn't yet have a funded account at TradeStation. So one thing that Brian recommended was you could always start even with Ninja charting, which can be free, and then he can move over to TradeStation when it makes sense. Yeah, and then right, you can use a demo account, of course. That's not a problem. Adam asked a good question. If the system is easy, like we show, why do we need to do all the extensive training? And obviously, a lot of the training focuses in on the systems and making sure that you guys trade the systems exactly right. So that's a real key. But in addition, we really find there's a lot more that goes into trading. If you just give somebody a system and that's it, it's amazing how many things potentially can go wrong, from market selection, to times of day, to training you how to follow a trade plan, to teaching you about chart level adjustments, key level adjustments, working around news. So this isn't like having to go 4 years to learn this. This isn't like having to spend a year building a small business. I mean, you can be to the point of profitability about as fast as you can with any business. And to think that you can literally next week be 2 days and have at your disposal everything you saw in the trading systems, we'll get you up to speed as fast as possible. But there definitely is quite a bit of education that we want to impart onto you. Things that we've learned, I've learned over just 17 years of doing NetPicks, let alone over 20 years of trading. And pretty much everybody on the team here is in the same situation. We've learned a ton over putting in thousands of hours, investing, and sometimes losing tens of thousands of dollars to get to the point that we're at. So I think it's very high value overall. A couple reminders.
Mark,
yeah.
Oh, I just want to add to that when you're done.
Yeah, I want to just add real quick. I just got a quick message that just to make sure, a couple reminders here that if you're going to do the payment plan, remember this is kind of the last class to do that. If you're doing the pay in full, make sure, I guess I had a couple of people who didn't use the code, so make sure you use the code, the save 250 to get the additional discount. The class starts next week. That'll be the last class until later. I think next time up is at least late January, so got a big gap here. So, this is kind of the time to come off the fence. And if you're a little bit on the fence, I would definitely encourage you here right now in the live to ask the questions that you need answered so you can kind of make that final decision, because the class is getting full and I'm kind of concerned about, somebody waiting to the last minute and then you're not going to be able to get in. So go ahead, Troy, what were you trying to say?
Well, you were talking about the value of the additional training. And of course, you showed that great graphic where the profitable difference between the training just, as opposed to just taking the mechanical setups. And of course, that's all from what we teach. But the other thing is, it's almost, you can't even put a price value on it, is the live trade room. I mean, we had over 70 people in there today. And the questions were, some of them were just extremely illuminating, not just because it covered very important aspects to trading that is stuff you'd never think about until you encounter it, but it also let me know the different levels of progress that different members are where they're at with their trading, I guess. And so I'm able to then, and the other coaches too, to really give you what you need on a one-to-one basis in that trade room. And I think that a lot of people went away from the experience today just, with wings on their toes. When they see the system working live and I'm taking trades in there live, that they're second guessing and questioning because they don't have the confidence yet. They don't understand yet the strategy, and they're seeing, oh, gee, I wouldn't have taken that trade, but that was a winner, and they witness it, and it ends the session positive. You just can't put a value on that experience and the repetition that's required to master anything that's worth mastering. And so, I mean, I don't know how to explain it better than that until you're actually in the trade room experiencing that every day. That's how you become successful.
Yeah, that's a great point, Troy. Completely agree with that. Daniel's asking, if I enter PTU now, will I be able to see the next undergrads in 2013 and beyond? Yeah, if you ever want to retake, you can always retake. If you want to go back through the undergrad training, maybe we make a big upgrade or a change and you want to see the latest training, absolutely, you're invited to do that. If we update the major training, you'll be able to do that as well. And again, it's a nice advantage of coming in now. It's another big advantage because in 2013, we have talked about needing to have some ongoing fees and some licensing. Right now, it doesn't exist. So if you come in, you're kind of grandfathered. It's nothing you're going to have. So I see this changing next year. So I think it's another reason to really kind of, get off the fence and make the decision and enroll. I think this is really the best time for it. So if you're close, you're there, you really definitely should go for it. Let's see, average win rate on the trend jumper. That's from Brian. Do you want to take that, TJ?
I guess it just depends on the market, but I mean, boy, crude oil is like 70% over the last 2 months, for example. The Dow Mini was about 69, close to 70%. The EURAUD was 80% this last month. So, I mean, they're not all that high, but the win rates are phenomenal, and what you get is that great 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio or close to it on a lot of these trades. So the real metric to look at is what the session win rates are and what your average profit per trade and the average win versus average loss and some of those other metrics are actually quite a bit more important than the winning percentages, and they're all really strong.
Yeah, that's a great point. Tom was asking about leverage on the forex results. Yeah, so Tom, I'm definitely not saying use max leverage because I don't think if you were to get, for instance, 100-to-1 leverage from a broker, let's say outside the U.S. when they used to give that I would tell you for $1,000 trade a full size. No way, because it's going to be too big of a risk on a percentage basis. 2 to 5% max risk is on a trade. That's how we approach it. That's how we train. We don't really pay attention at all to what a broker will give you in leverage. I could care less because that's not typically responsible trading anyway. If you use max leverage, you're not going to make it. So we're all about percentage of your account is what you should risk, and that determines your position size. So if you had $5,000 and you were doing 5% risk, which is a lot, it's very aggressive, that's $250 risk, that will determine what size you can trade. And typically, that's going to be a set of minis, not necessarily a standard pair. Alan says you are talking about 2 separate systems, which is correct. This was important to us. We wanted to make sure we had something for really every personality type, numerous different markets, time frames, because some of you are in different time zones. So it gives us all kinds of flexibility. So you said, which is more suitable for scalping, day trading the DAX and the crude? If you're talking more about a scalp and higher frequency, then it's trend jumper for sure. If you're talking about a little bit of that, trying to make those bigger moves on a day trade basis, then you should look at PTU2. And the thing about it is, Alan, you can trade both styles. You don't have to decide necessarily on one or the other. You can start with one and follow the other and see how you can incorporate it. Maybe you'll even find you'll trade both, or maybe you'll find that on one market I want it to be a little slowed down, so I'm doing PTU2, and then I'm going to use trend jumper on a market I need to pay closer attention to, which is higher frequency. So you're going to have some of those opportunities available to you that'll come to you once you have a little bit of experience with the systems. Larry, no auto trade, though next year we do plan on releasing some automation type tools, trade assist tools, and those will be things that'll be made available next year along with some new training. What win to loss ratio to use on the initial trade entry? Like Troy was mentioning on trend jumper, it's about a 2-to-1, so it's a very favorable reward risk. Because we're going for bigger moves typically on PTU2, it tends to be above 1-to-1, but it's not 2-to-1. Maybe it's 1.5-to-1, 1.25-to-1, so it's not quite the same ratio overall. Gord, can you explain more about stock and options trading and training? Yes, so the way that we work is we teach you go through the undergrad, we teach you all about how to use the systems across multiple different market types. Then what you're going to want to do is go through the major training, which Mike put together, and this goes over specifically how to use the PTU for stocks, and in addition, how to trade options on those stocks, which is where the best leverage is. In addition, he provides the hot list of the best stocks, ongoing video and article-based posts in the Owners Club, ongoing tracking of existing trades. So we focus more specialized in stock and options because obviously, you know, we're not doing options on future or options on forex, and that is the type of thing. If you're, you know, not involved in options, it's not really worth your time to go through that in futures trading or forex trading. So we do the basic undergrad, which covers everything, and then what you're going to want to do is go right into the major to specifically cover how to use this in stocks and options. Julius, best price for you, since you have SST and the swing trade, is still the $1,000 off. That's the max that we can, of course, give you. So that's the $29.97 option. Use the Save 250. You know, take another $250 off as well. Daniel, average win rate on the Forex daily charts. Troy, I assume it's pretty much in line with what you see in the day trading, kind of the examples you gave on that.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's different from pair to pair and from year to year, obviously, and it's also different if you're, you know, trading all the setups like I like to do with all the add-ons and stuff. So I'm really more concerned with the total profit. That's what I'm really paying attention to. But yeah, it's comparable.
Thank you, Troy. Jeff says, what about the S&P Mini? So we have a specific trade plan in PTU2 for the S&P Mini. It's done very well. I know over the last 6 weeks it's $2,600 for just a single contract. We don't always talk about it as much as some of the other futures markets because we always consider the S&P trading it effectively to be a more advanced market because it's only 4 ticks per point, and because there's huge volumes at the bid and the ask. Unlike most of the other markets where you get virtually, not always, but virtually instant execution when market moves to price, that does not necessarily happen, as you know, in the ES. So what you find is people need to know a little bit more about moving stops, about locking in, about what happens if you hit your target and you don't get one of the fills. 300 other contracts do, but yours doesn't. So for that reason, usually it takes somebody with a bit more experience to properly trade it. Now on the chart, it'll look crystal clear. It'll look the same. It's done very well, certainly, and it can definitely be traded. And there's huge volumes on it, as you know, and tremendous scale. But it just takes a little bit extra knowledge, I think, to effectively trade it. And you probably know that, I'm sure, if you are trading it. Okay, let me just kind of scroll down and see if I missed any other questions. I think we've got most of them at this point. Can it take more than one major? Yeah, and Brian answered that for you. So that's a really neat thing. We were in the past charging $9.97 for after one major. We waived that for the rest of the year. So we're kind of getting down to it. So let's kind of do a quick recap if you're still sort of thinking about it. When we disconnect here today, obviously the $250 goes away. The payment plan is still going to be available probably, you know, for just a short while longer. But once, you know, we're going to start the class, that's it. We're done with that. And then, of course, we've got the pretty neat little specials that we laid out to you. Don't forget, if you're in Europe, Australia, etc., we're brand new, just announced today, really, is the Live in the Market European session starting in January. We doubled up the live US sessions. We haven't done that before. That just started this week. So your timing probably is pretty impeccable if you're starting now. And we've got a lot of cool stuff in store for 2013. Let me see, Jeff says, is PTU immediately downloadable? Yeah, so what you're going to do as soon as you enroll is you're going to start going into the Owners Club and going through the prereq. You'll be immediate access to the prereq, and then you'll be invited to the undergrad, which you'll attend starting next week. So prereq first, take your time, relax, go through that. You've got a whole week to do that. It's enough time. If you don't get through all of it before next week, it's not a big deal. Self-pace yourself, and then we'll kick right in and do the undergrad. You'll download the indicators starting next week. You'll attend the live sessions if you can. If not, we'll stream it. You know, attend if you can. If you can't, just watch on replay. Daniel said, just bought the PTU. Great. Welcome aboard. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. Yeah, the way that it's going to work with the Trend Jumper, same thing, Daniel, is prereq first, and then next week we're going to train you immediately on the trend jumper. And as soon as you go through the undergrad, you can start attending the live. So I know it's just a few days you got to wait, but it's just a few days. I mean, we were enrolling for this class several weeks ago. Those people had to wait. You guys pretty much get to start virtually right away. Let me see. Trend jumper is off the market to Brian, so just it's only at this point available through the university. It'll come back out. It may come back out later this month. We haven't decided yet, or if not, it'll be obviously after the new year. Would you go over the fees again and having trend jumper? Does that give a discount? Yeah. So James, that's a certain situation. You know, we can absolutely take care of you on that if you already have trend jumper and you want to upgrade into the university. So have trend jumper plus everything else. So what you want to do is contact us directly. So email us or call us, and Brian or somebody else on the team can work with you, and we can apply that in full towards the university. So don't worry about that. If you just did trend jumper and now you're ready to upgrade, that's not a problem. I think we got everything. Troy, anything else you want to add before we let everybody roll on with their day?
No, I just want to congratulate everybody who's joined. I'm really excited about this next round of training coming up. These systems pay for themselves really, really quickly. We found with Trend Jumper, for example, often in 1 or 2 sessions, that's it, paid for. And now you own it for life. The real thing to think about is that you're making an investment in yourself to take your trading up to the next level, the professional level. And that's important because then you can fire your boss and you can get the freedom you want. That's the reason we're trading in the first place. And remember, everyone else is out there trading, trying to make money too, the people you're trading against. You want to be in that position of success where you're better off than 99% of the traders out there. And that's the whole purpose of the Premier Trader University. So again, a big congratulations to everybody, and I just want to thank everyone for their time for joining us this morning.
Great, thanks, Troy. Appreciate your time as well and sharing everything with us. And Troy's very involved in the training and the undergraduate and the trend jumper. So you'll be hearing a lot more from him as well. And Brian, I appreciate you working through all the various questions. And 4 days a week training, how many days? Yeah, so it's Monday through Thursday to answer Gord. Jeff, we typically have held a roadshow, so use the best way to, if you see us in 2013 out and about, hopefully somewhere in your area, so you can come and meet with us that way. Yeah, and it is live in the market, so that's and it's not 30 days, Gord. There's no ongoing charges. So the live in the market training sessions that we are talking about are ongoing and continuous. So you're not going to pay a monthly fee after that. All right, everybody, thanks a lot. Have a great rest of the day. We're going offline here, so appreciate it, and looking forward to meeting and talking to a lot of you next week in the undergrad class. Take care.